Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond, Virginia. My name is Denise Rimes and I have the honor and privilege of serving as president of our board of directors. So this morning, if you're a small person, I want to teach you something that you might not know. So all the small people, do this. Put your hands together like this. Lock your fingers. All right, here's the church. Here's the steeple. Open the door and see all the people. Well, practice that with your moms and dads at home, and we can do it every Sunday till everyone comes back. How about that? We are so happy to have you here this morning in person, and those of you that are with us virtually, we are happy for you to be in your pajamas with us. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a long time since we've been able to come and go fairly freely, and we are delighted to see all of you back here in the church. For those of you who are out there far and wide, for those of you who are new, this is your first or your second time being with us, every Sunday's a little bit different, especially in the past 2 years, and will continue to be different and joyful. This is what so many of us have missed in the past 2 years. It's one thing to have great services and to have music, but it's a totally different thing to be back together in person and in community. So we welcome you all and hope that you will keep registering until we run coronavirus out of the country and we don't even have to do that anymore. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I do have one announcement for you this morning. It has been brought to my attention that I'm not a very good singer. In fact, I've been told I can't carry a tune in a bucket with a handle. Dave Robbins was one of those people who told me that. But there are others of you who are in the same club with me, I'm afraid. And some of you are really good singers, but even though we're wearing masks, there is still the chance that singing could put things out into the air that none of us need. Some of us have already had it, some of us won't ever want to get it. So even though our choir is amazing and fabulous and we're inspired to sing along, for those of you that can't sing, just give it up. And for those of you that do love to sing, even if you can't, just hum along or sing in your head for the time being so that we're not putting all the germs out there into our little universe here and increasing any risk. We will leave the choir to do what they do so very well. And by the way, if you love singing, the choir's always looking for new members, so you can sing if you're in the choir. There's a solution. Welcome to First UU Church of Richmond.
Good morning. It is good for my spirit to see all these families here. Welcome to everyone out there joining us from your home or elsewhere this morning. My name is Leanne Luskin. I am your youth coordinator here at First UU, and I partner with the wonderful Lauren Lovewood to offer our family programming, which we call FLAME, for Family Learning and Multi-Generational Enrichment. I want to express my deepest gratitude to our children, our youth, and our families for showing up and staying connected with our community in the ways that your lives allow right now. I know so many of us with kids at home have been running on fumes for far too long. So please know that everything we are offering is meant to be a gentle and spacious invitation for you to step into when you're ready. I have a few updates to note But you can find this information in our monthly Flame newsletter that you should get via email. If you're not, make sure Margaret has your email address. There's also a Flame section in the church newsletter, so you can find updates there as well. If you want to be in our First UU Families Facebook page, please reach out and we will get you connected there as well, so you have all the information. We are currently offering a really lovely outdoor, all ages series of workshops called Circle of Trees. The change is that we are shifting to offering that during Sunday services now, that we are back to being wide open instead of Sunday afternoons. So that's an important change to note. We have a really wonderful team of volunteers leading these workshops, and Joseph will get up in a tree with these kids. It is very fun. We have roles for teens to step into leading some activities and games with these workshops. So if that feels like a good way to step in and reconnect, please do. We would love to have you. Our teens also have a space to gather during service. If you're not feeling being in here, there's a teen room that's just adjacent to the nursery space. So there's a door you can close and still be somewhat supervised and have some privacy. So that is available to you. And teens and children of all ages are always, always welcome in this service, multi-generational or not. We are multi-generational. You are always welcome here. So you have options. We have a new youth and children music ensemble on Wednesday evenings, and it is such a gift that Dave and Jamie are offering this to our young people. It is playful and thoughtful, and they offer so many opportunities to connect with music and our feelings and each other. It's very beautiful. I highly recommend. The past 2 years have challenged our children and our youth and our families in ways that we never could have expected, and then losses and challenges just seem to keep rolling in. But together, we can keep growing and strengthening the ways that this faith community is a source of spiritual nourishment for families. And we can come and refill our cups, sing songs, climb trees, and live more deeply into our UU values. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you.
Well, good morning again. It's so nice to see so many folks here, and good morning to all of you at home, too. I am Lauren Levewood, and I'm your ministerial intern, and it's nice to gather together with so many folks in worship today, isn't it? It's good to be back. Woo. So we are called to worship together because together the seeds of love are planted, and together we water these seeds and watch them grow. We're called to worship because the earth is warming up her springtime song. It's the first day of spring today. And because the birds invite us to hum along, because the breezes of spring air tousle our hair and sweet fragrance of buds promising to bloom outside tempt us and tell us that the earth requires our rejoicing. And today we're here to celebrate and rejoice with the earth's springtime song. We're called to worship together today because gardens grow things, and we grow things too. The garden of this community and the spirit of collaboration grafts new branches to old rootstock, and entire galaxies are born when we come together in community. This particular worship service we offer today in tribute to Reverend Jean Pupke, who had the idea for this worship service last fall about growing our own food as a spiritual practice after an inspiring conversation with one of you, a home gardener from our first UU community. So this service and all that we do now is a tribute to her legacy. I was tasked by Reverend Jean as her intern to co-create this worship service, and I'm joined today with fellow gardeners Candace Evans and Drew Fridley, who are helping out, and we're delighted to share this interactive, multi-generational morning with you today. However, whatever your age, if you're at home or in person, please join in with the fun with us. It's going to be a little bit different, but I know you're good with that. And just thank you in ways big and small for continuing to worship together and continuing to grow the seeds of love together as a community. We know that when seeds are scattered wherever they are, wherever they fall, they will take root and grow. And no matter how or when, it's a blessing when the seeds of love are scattered. It's a blessing to water them together and to watch them grow. So come, let us worship together this morning and receive the nourishment that only community can bring. Welcome to our time of worship.
We kindle our chalice this morning with these words by Zimbabwean-born and Canadian-based philosopher Machona Dilweyo. There is a seed inside every tree, and a tree inside every seed. Trees we plant today are forest we enjoy tomorrow.
Spirit intuition from the center of our souls. In your love we find relation, all connected we are whole. Timeless mystery, quiet, conscious, deepest values voice inside. With the drum and with the cauldron, this we ask you be our guide.
This is a story about gardening. It's inspired by the parable of the Chinese farmer. A gardener stares upon the springtime stretch of earth. Time to sow seeds, she said. She set about surveying the land for a seamless spot. She planted seeds just below the surface of the earth, and she waited. The gardener's seeds were dug up by a groundhog. Her neighbors came by and saw the dug up seeds and said, "That's too bad." And she said, "Maybe." The gardener's daughter saw the row of loosened soil and transplanted tomatoes so that their taproots could thrive in the freshly tilled soil. The gardener's neighbors came by and saw the thriving tomatoes and said, "That's wonderful." She said, "Yeah, maybe." Then a band of blue jays came by and ate half of the tomatoes off of the vine. And after seeing the ravaged tomatoes, the neighbors came by and said, "That's too bad." And she said, "Yeah, maybe." The gardener's daughter ended up winning first prize at the science fair with a study showing that the birds preferred tomatoes, which tomatoes they preferred the most and the least. And the neighbors congratulated the farmers and her daughter, coming by and giving congratulations and saying, "Oh, that's fantastic." And they said, "Yeah, maybe." Our natural world is an integrated and interdependent web of existence. Life is full of ebb and flow, beginnings and endings. It's a never-ending spiral dance. In gardening and in life, we often will not know which fortunes or misfortunes may arise. What we can control is our reactions to those fortunes and misfortunes. So no matter what happens in your life's garden, persist with an equanimous mind of maybe. Please join me now for a moment of meditation. You can close your eyes if you'd like. And we feel the warmth of the sun on the crown of our head and grow towards it. We are sowing seeds of love and kindness. Breathing in, we feel the seeds resting in our palms. Breathing out, we sow the seeds with intention. Breathing in, we send well wishes to the seeds. Breathing out, we relax in gratitude. What may grow from the seeds we plant? Where might our seeds spread to next season?
So now, as you gently open your eyes and come back to this time and place together, I'd like to invite you to join me in a back and forth responsive reading of a poem by Stephanie Kaza of Green Gulch Farm Zen Center in San Francisco. So your part is going to be a refrain, and it will go like this. We live in all things, and all things live in us. So let's try that. We live in all things, and all things live in us. Awesome. So I'll begin, and in between each verse, I'll invite you to just join with me and say those words all together. We live by the sun, we feel by the moon, we move by the stars. We live in all things, and all things live in us. We eat from the earth, we drink from the rain, we breathe of the air. We live in all things, and all things live in us. We call to each other. We listen to each other. Our hearts deepen with love and compassion. We live in all things, and all things live in us. We depend on the trees and animals. We depend on the earth, our minds open with wisdom and insight. We live in all things, and all things live in us. We dedicate our practice to others. We include all forms of life. We celebrate the joy of living, dying. We live in all things, and all things live in us. We are full of life. We are full of death. We are grateful for all beings and companions. We live in all things, and all things live in us. And I invite you to find a position of reverence for a moment of prayer. Holy Spirit, great Spirit of life that moves within and between all things, we are grateful to be here together today. We're grateful for those near and far. We send out our love and compassion and hopes and prayers for healing to all those who are hurting and in need, whether in our community, close to home, near or far on the other side of the globe. We send our compassion and our love and our gratitude to all of the growing things, all of the green things, and all of the creatures that are working together to pollinate and dig into the earth, to burrow and create holes and aerate the soil so that things can grow, so that we can grow, so that we can eat the foods of the earth and participate in the wheel of life. We offer our thanks, we offer our reverence, and we offer our prayers that we may take this nourishment in and use it so that we may grow to nourish the world. Amen.
Come
share the plate for the month of March is the UU Ministry for Earth, or UUMFE. I'd like to share personally that the UU Ministry for Earth has been an important part of my own life. It's been an important ministry for me. It's provided guidance and leadership, and it supports a wide range of eco-justice issues, including frontline solidarity for the rights of Indigenous peoples, defending the human right to water, proclaiming that climate justice is racial justice, providing resources for ethical eating, farm worker justice, and ethical living on our planetary home. And I could go on and on. Take a look at their website. Really, the resources just keep going. It's such an incredible ministry. We would not have a home without Earth. The UU Ministry for Earth is, as such, it's a ministry for all of us. And its commitment to intersectionality and commitment to supporting this important Earth ministry is something that I'm really proud of. It weaves together communities for justice, and it's both firmly rooted and constantly expanding and growing and advancing its causes and listening to what needs to be supported or addressed next. And it's inspiringly on the forefront of multi-generational leadership, because the youth of today will inherit this planet. And we're all caretaking our Earth for the people of the future. And I really appreciate that about the UUMFE, that we see youth leadership and multi-generational interaction as a very important to UUMFE. So please dig into your pocketbooks or your wallets if you'd like to share the plate with UUMFE. But if you're here in person, we're physically open for church, but we're actually not physically going to take your money today. But we still want you to donate. So please know that the 4 ways to give that you're used to seeing online, and they're going to be on the screen again in the moment, those are the ways that you'll be giving to UUMFE to share the plate today. Those are check, text, Vanco app, or by going on to the First UU website and clicking to donate. So our offering will now be taken and gratefully received. Now we have a special moment where if you're young or young at heart, you are welcome to come to the front. And Drew is going to come down and have a time for all ages. So come on forward, don't be shy. That's right.
All right. Hello. Thanks for joining me up here, everyone. So I wanted to do something. This thing? Awesome. Yeah, so today I wanted to do, it's a little improvised game here of planting things, because we're talking all about planting and life today. So I just wanted to do this little exercise where we can improvise planting anything. It doesn't have to be the regular things you would think about planting, transplanting trees or planting seeds. We can plant anything, right? And then we can guess as to what may come of that. We can plant any type of object we want, and then that can grow into anything we want because, yeah, our imagination is endless. So, and we can feel free to act it out. If anyone wants to act it out, I may try to act some of these things out. Whatever you're saying is gonna grow from whatever we're planting. So we can all do our own renditions of that, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. So does anybody have anything right at the top of their head that they want to plant in the ground? Aya? What was it?
Probably a hyacinth.
Planting a hyacinth. Does anybody know what may happen if you plant a plant in the ground? What may come of that from the hyacinth? A good smell. Yeah, I can't act that out with a mask on, but a big, yeah. We'll act like y'all are big noses and I'm smelling you all. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to plant into the ground to see what may come of that? A chocolate bar. Yeah, so you plant a chocolate bar and what? Willy Wonka comes out. Just pretend I got like the top hat on and, look as good as, Willy Wonka. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to plant in the ground? Money. All right. Yeah, you plant money and then you get this entire building. We took, so much money. We just asked for the offering and got to keep this stuff going. Money, yeah, grows into all sorts of things. That's the resource that we all need to keep going. Yeah? Hope. Hope. Plant hope. What may happen if we're planting hope? The first thing that came to my mind, I can't act this out very well, but yeah, the Obama, the poster of the 2008 thing, that was the first thing I thought of. Can't act this out. I don't do a good Obama. Yeah. Anything else that anybody wants to plant? An egg. Then we finally get to answer this question, and you plant the egg, and then we know what pops up. The egg came first. It took Jim, if anybody could answer that question, I knew you'd get that. Books. Yeah, what may happen if we plant books? If you plant a book in the ground, what's going to pop up? A book tree. Yeah. So that'll look something like this with pages flinging off of it. It would look kind of like, a little gratitude tree of pages. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else that anybody wants to, yeah? Shoes. What's gonna pop up if we plant a shoe in the ground? Shoe tree. There's a Payless. Yes, the Payless store. A sale tag. Absolutely. Anybody else have burning desires to plant something deep in the soil?
Kindness, she says.
Plant kindness, yeah. What happens when we plant kindness? What may come of this? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? What was it? Friendship. Yeah, that's what we all got growing here today. Anything else? Yeah. You want to plant a rainbow? Yeah. What's going to come out of the ground when you plant the rainbow in there?
Skittles, somebody
Unicorns?
said.
Skittles? I thought of that gum, the zebra gum. I can't remember. That was very popular when I was a child. What was it?
Pot of gold.
A pot of gold. Yeah. Hey, I thought about that. Yeah, Lucky Charms. I thought of that too. Yeah, a leprechaun can come out of there. I can do a good leprechaun because I'm like the height for it, so it's good. Thank you for that. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else that we want to plant? What would happen if you plant your kitty? A whisker. Whiskers could grow. It could grow into more cats. Proliferation of cats. That's what the internet needs more of. More cat videos.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how long we're going with this. I'm just improvising this.
All right. One or two more.
Yeah. One or two more things to plant.
Joy.
Joy?
What happens when we plant joy? One more.
A present.
A present.
Present? Is that coming from the joy, or are we planting the present? We're planting the present then. And what's going to come out of that once we plant a present in the ground?
What happens when we plant our gifts? We can share more of them.
I'm on the tree theme. We got to go with the Christmas tree is going to come up from just one present, and then a more proliferation of more presents under there. So we can keep the seeds going, just like we keep the life going, and keep planting things and keep getting good things back from them.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming down, and all the participants.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Yep. You can find your seats again.
Thank you, Drew. That was beautiful. I was in second or third grade, so 8 or 9, living in a small town near the Gulf Coast of Mississippi with my father and sister. And we were learning in school about the life cycle of plants. As a part of this unit, we got the choice of growing our own plants from seed, a lima bean or a sunflower. I, as a child of the South who had to choke down my fair share of succotash, immediately chose a sunflower. They are beautiful, tall, strong flowers, and I, as a child of the South, grew up eating the roasted seeds and spitting out the shells. I did not pause to think where I would put this small seedling when it outgrew its styrofoam cup. At the time, my father was renting a townhouse with a concrete patio about 2 by 3 feet, and beyond that was perfectly manicured lawn that I knew to be the property of the townhouse complex. None of that mattered to my childhood self. I just knew I was growing a sunflower and I was going to get seeds. So the time came to take home our seedlings that we'd carefully germinated in paper towels and planted in cups with our names on masking tape and set in our classroom windows and watched and waited for tiny green leaves to pop up. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, but it gets hot. And it felt to me like we got sent home with those seedlings on the hottest day of the year. It was at least 90 degrees, and once again, I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, but with humidity, it felt like 100. So I was already nervous, cradling this small seedling on the stuffy school bus on the way home. It was already showing signs of wilting, and by the time I walked from the bus stop to my door, the soil was completely dried out. When I got to my front door, I reached in my shirt for that thin rope my father had tied around my neck that my key hung from. It wasn't there. I had forgotten my key. I tried the doorknob, locked, of course. I would have to wait a good 45 minutes for my sister to get home from middle school, assuming she came straight home because she'd been lectured to the same way I'd been lectured not to forget my key. Now, here's where I have to pause and put a disclaimer. Some of y'all may be getting nervous thinking about school-age children being home alone, especially in hot weather. But let me assure you, it was the 90s, so it was a completely different time. At that moment, my chief concern was that seedling, which had shriveled down to nearly nothing. And by the time my sister got home, the situation was irreversible. The seedling did not survive. And when I say the death of that sunflower haunted me for years, I am not being dramatic. If I hadn't forgotten my key, if I had watered it really good before I got on the bus, if I told my dad, you have to take off work so you can drive me and my seedling home, if it hadn't been so dang hot outside, I would have been eating sunflower seeds that summer. Never mind that I hadn't figured out the small little issue, what to do about the concrete patio and the well-manicured grass. Never mind that looking back, I'm not 100% sure that the type of sunflower we planted was going to grow into what I was thinking it was going to grow into. Never mind that even if I had figured all of that out and managed as an 8-year-old to grow a sunflower to maturity, it would have died that year anyway. I've been gardening for about 6 or 7 years now, with varying results. 2 summers ago, I tried again to grow sunflowers from seed. The seedlings kept getting eaten and dug up, and when I finally got some to stick, they snapped under their own weight before maturity. Others that managed to mature were decimated by birds. Last summer, I managed to grow a full sunflower to maturity from seed for the first time. I covered its huge head in mesh to keep away birds, and one afternoon in fall, I harvested hundreds of seeds. I roasted them, and I ate them, and I spit out their shells. And I think I finally forgave myself for that death of that little sunflower seedling. Because now I know if 30 kids grow 30 seedlings, and even if all of those seedlings died, at least one kid took their seedling and 25 years later grew hundreds more, including lima beans. And from those hundreds got thousands of seeds and bulbs and fed themselves and their friends and their family and birds and squirrels and rabbits and bees, brought beauty to their earth, and maybe, just maybe, I planted one of those seeds in you today. So much so that I've brought some seedlings with me and some seeds with me if you stick around after service. And if you're thinking, I can't possibly take one, I will just kill it. You are the exact person I want to take one. Thank you.
Some need and never bother even thinking where food comes from.
To say the Evans household has been in a state of upheaval for the past few years would be the understatement of the century. Between career changes and going back to school and adding 2 more mouths to feed, sprinkled with financial emergencies and a general atmosphere of economic uncertainty. Some years ago, we carefully evaluated our finances, and we had to cut back on our support of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. Then March 2020 came with all of its stuff. Ryan and I found our home turned into a daycare/office park. We worked across from each other at our dining room table, taking turns jumping on conference calls, in between bouncing a baby on a knee, slicing bananas for snacks, flashcards. We didn't have time to contemplate what a scary disease that was spreading around meant for our family's immediate safety, let alone what an environment of civil unrest meant for our children's future. We were in pure survival mode. But as time went on, we adjusted. The world slowly opened back up, including daycares and our offices. We were able to get vaccinated. With a little bit more mental bandwidth, we began to attend church again, virtually, of course, and we were able to get back to really thinking about what was important to us, and maybe some things we had taken for granted. We had this amazing place outside of our house where we had made friends that would last a lifetime, a place where our children can play and learn, a place heavily invested in combating white supremacy long before it was a smart business move. Then we watched as this magical place was given unideal circumstances and made tremendous efforts to overcome the social and technological barriers of continuing to have services and stay connected. And we knew it was time to find a way to increase our financial contribution to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. Why does the Evans family pledge First UU? Because you have all always been there for us when we needed you the most. We hope our financial gift will be there for someone else who is struggling right now and may not have the means to give, but has much to receive from a place like this. So please join the Evans family in pledging the First UU Church of Richmond. As of this weekend, we have raised a quarter of our total needed for our community, and 50 generous households of the total of 400 households have pledged. To the 50 households that have pledged, thank you. To the 350 households remaining, please join us in pledging First UU and help us reach our goal of 100% participation. No gift is too small or too big. If you're pledging from home, there is a button to donate on the First UU Richmond's website's homepage. If you're here in person, there's a table right outside those doors. Simply fill out a paper form and drop it in the green basket on your way out. Thank you so much for your generous gifts that support First UU Church of Richmond. They mean so much. We will now extinguish our chalice with words from Mevlana Rumi, translated by Miriam Mafi. Every leaf that grows will tell you what you sow will bear fruit. So if you have any sense, my friend, don't plant anything but love.
Space.
Whether we have access to acres of land or a simple sunny windowsill, whether we water a single seedling or a shared community garden plot, love grows when we scatter seeds, and the earth knows what to do when she receives them. And for this, for the food that we eat, for the nourishment our bodies and our spirits receive, let us be grateful. Let us foster the love of earth. Let us grow gardens of tomatoes and rutabagas, beans and corn, watermelons and radishes. Let us dig into the ground and breathe deeply of earth's perfume. Let us admire sprouts in the cracks of the sidewalks. Let us grow sunflowers in our windows. And when our seedlings wither, let us not give up hope. Let us remember to try again, even if it's 25 years later, for yesterday's sadness with determination can yield tomorrow's delight. If we're open to the possibility, if we're open to the maybe, and continue to endeavor to plant new seeds. As we leave this place with new stories planted in our hearts, let us go and scatter the seeds of love, seeds of justice, seeds of kindness. Let us grow food for our bodies or celebrate those who do. Let us grow food for our minds and hearts and support the farmers of all kinds among us. And let us share this food so that our harvest might nourish the world. Go in peace. Blessed be.